Welcome to the Fight with Depression podcast, the podcast for people who want to improve their mental health. My name is Christopher Boussard, and today, once again, we have Molly on the episode.
Hello.
And apparently, that's her entire introduction. If you guys listened to the last episode, Molly and I kind of spoke about some things with some things that we've learned, our relationship stuff and everything. So there's a lot more that we want to talk about, and we kind of addressed that after Molly and I kind of spoke about it, and I think we heard some good feedback from people. So I think maybe we'll kind of continue with us having a conversation. So just real quick, well, I guess not real quick. I've just got a couple things here a couple talking points that I want to go over, and hopefully we'll keep it a little bit shorter. So, anyway, let's get started. So we've had a lot of stuff that tears us down, and then keeps knocking us down. And when I say us, I mean specifically Molly and me, but I see this a lot with a lot of people. So that's why Molly and I are going to talk about it. And it's added tension between the two of us, Molly and me, and then it impacts the children. We talked about that a little bit too. So, how do we lift each other up during this instead of pulling each other down?
Well, I think you have to really look back at our relationship if we're talking about how do you and I do things. I think it's quite different how we do it now than we did, many years ago. I feel like throughout our relationship, I don't know if I'm being fair in this, but I kind of feel like we've been dealt some really difficult situations from the get-go almost, and pretty much any other couple is going to struggle with it, but and I'm sure their struggles are going to be different than ours, but we've had everything from Christopher trying to get hired on for 10 years working and testing to get hired on with the fire department, and just not having it happen over and over and over again. And then we had the struggles of having a baby who, you know, struggled in his first moments on this earth and having the stress about that. We had a house fire. I lost my dad last year. We have just kind of been through the ringer with things. And I think that maybe in the beginning, we didn't deal with things properly. I think there were a lot of unnecessary arguments, like we've talked about before. But recently, our most recent struggles, am I free to share?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
Yeah. So,
Um, I don't want to get too specific, but
no. But recently, Christopher was injured at work, and we're still, and I say we, meaning Christopher, is still dealing with this injury, and we're struggling to get him the care that he needs. And it's difficult not to get more specific, so I'm just going to stop at that.
we want to see justice done, and it's struggles. Like, even the last few days, I kind of shut down. So how does that? I don't know. How do we work well in those situations, and what should be improved on?
Well, and we don't always work well in those situations, is the truth of it. We've had our fair share of disagreements, but there's been this kind of overwhelming, I don't know if you would call it, I don't know exactly what you would call it right now, but this kind of overwhelming sense of it's going to be okay, and it's going to work out. But in this moment that's so highly stressful, that there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of uncertainty, we know that in the end it's going to be okay. It's just kind of what that road looks like getting to the end, and the end just in this instance being, having you
Functional.
getting the back surgery that you need. um there seems to be, when there's bad news, you tend to kind of we'll say you hedgehog, you kind of kind of curl into your own existence there and tuck away from me and from everybody else, and you just internalize everything. And I think I've learned recently, I don't know, I learned this a while ago, but I wasn't the best at practicing it. um, you need that time. And I think a lot of people don't give, not that they don't respect their partner, that came out wrong, but they don't respect the fact that, hey, he's dealing with something in a different way than I would deal with it. And it's okay for him to be quiet, to have alone time, to hedgehog, if you will. The important thing is not to have that happen too long. And who's to say what too long is? But we've had the conversation of, you can be upset and you can be angry, speaking not just to Christopher, but to both of us. We can be upset, we can be angry, we can be frustrated and sad, but we can't sit in that, because if you sit in it too long, it's going to overwhelm you, and that's all your focus is going to be.
Well,
And
I think there's a line. There's a line between allowing somebody to kind of have their time to process everything and just to internalize everything, and then allowing them to spiral. Because that can definitely happen where I start getting in my own thoughts, and then I'll say today has been, the entire day has all been in my own head, and that's not healthy to keep going. But just last night, Molly was trying to help, trying to just be a positive. I don't know, just be positive. And I just said I don't want words of encouragement right now, but I think before I think well, this kind of goes into this the next topic here. So we had a marriage course with our church that we went through a few weeks ago. Couple
yeah.
weeks ago we ended. So it was a 7 week, mostly online with other couples, and it gave us, there was a bunch of good information. And I think probably even before that course, and that's where Molly got the hedgehog analogy from. She's a rhino, by the way. Um, but I think even before that course, just if I was sitting there and I didn't want encouragement, because that really, when I'm feeling down or when I'm bothered by something, sometimes I want to be in that mindset for a little bit. I have to process that. Um, but I think before that course, I probably would have just kept sitting there, allowing her to, you know, say something that really was just kind of frustrating me a little bit. And I would have probably just let it keep going and going. And then I would have held that against her, even though she's just trying to help out, right? So instead, I, I feel like I've able to verbalize stuff better. And I just said, like, I don't want encouragement right now. And she said, okay.
Yeah. And it's, you know, this whole, when we talk about feelings,
I'm not editing this one again.
um, I think that has been something that I've had to work on in definitely in this past year, but as an adult, letting not only myself but letting Christopher kind of feel our feelings. And I know that sounds silly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't like it. You don't like decompress. It's okay. but it is true because there's so many times when you just don't let those feelings sink in and you really can't process things sometimes. And for me, I will kind of, Christopher will spiral into something and I will dwell, which is different than spiral.
Well,
But I will dwell on things
because
and
but the difference is also because you're an extrovert, I'm an introvert,
yeah,
and for me to process things is internally. I hold that in and I process it. The way you process things is by verbalizing, by speaking.
absolutely.
So yeah, so if you aren't able to do that, if you aren't able to speak and get that out, then that's when you start kind of, I don't know, it, spiraling, I guess. I don't know,
No,
but
dwelling.
huh?
Dwelling.
Dwelling. Okay, dwelling. But I like the dwelling because that allows me as an introvert to be able to process things on my own. Because when I just, and then we talked about it in the last episode, well, when it's when I feel like, okay, now I can start to verbalize, I'm not being forced, I'm not, yeah, I'm not being forced to kind of talk about things, but it's on my time, then I can tell Molly about, oh, this is what's bothering me, and allow that to get out.
And it's really, I mean, it is a process. And I mean, we went through a super difficult time just last fall where we could not communicate for anything, and it was pretty awful on the both of us. And then things started, to kind of, we started figuring things out a little bit more. And after this marriage course, which I highly, highly recommend, um, it just gave us these tools to be able to speak to one another, not in a very respectful, helpful manner. Um, I mentioned the whole hedgehog thing, and as Christopher said, I am a rhino. And basically, that just refers to the way that we communicate and deal with conflict. I am the one who is like, okay, let's sit down and talk it out. And, I tend to raise my voice and, just go all in. Where if we have a disagreement or an argument, Christopher needs to process it. He tucks away, like I said, with him being the hedgehog, and he keeps everything in, and it takes him hours, sometimes, a day or so to verbalize anything. Um, but the reason I bring that up is because just that simple little piece of information, those little analogies, the rhino and the hedgehog, has helped us immensely when I'm one of those that is an ultra communicator and Christopher is has not been. I can't say that he isn't because he really is much, much more these days. But we were having not an argument, I wouldn't say. I don't even know what it was about. There was a little bit of a disagreement or discussion happening. And when I was speaking to him, I just thought I was talking. And he stopped me and said, "You're kind of being a rhino right now." And before this class, we didn't have the ability to be able to say that. He would say something maybe and I would take offense to it, or he wouldn't say anything at all. And
I would hedgehog.
you would hedgehog. But it doesn't matter if I thought that I was being a rhino or not, which I definitely didn't think I was. But the point is, that's what he was feeling from me. And so I was able to step back and go, okay, and approach the conversation in a different manner. And we didn't get heated. It was a very easy way to diffuse the situation. And we moved on with our day. And I don't know. I just think that has been so super helpful recently in our lives.
Well, I think, I don't know. I think also too, with all this crap and everything, I start getting overwhelmed, and I just kind of shut down. Um, and I don't really know what else to do. I'm sitting, leaning back in my recliner, and I just, like I said, start shutting down. And I've been wearing a few hoodies lately, and I'll kind of tuck myself in there, and Molly's like, "Oh no, don't cocoon on me." And I really just I just kind of curl up and I wrap it around my head, and I just want to close off the world. But I mean, that's obviously not healthy, and especially with the kids around, where they're talking to me and stuff, or they're trying to show me something, and it's just so much um, information that I just have an overload, and I just get overwhelmed. So I'm really still working on that, like what it looks like when I start getting like that, what I need to do. And, maybe do I need to be more verbal? Do I need to be able to speak to Molly more? And, maybe it's I speak and she just listens without giving feedback. I don't know. Maybe it's something that we could try where it's like, of course, then she'll be stirring and she'll want to talk, but um, I don't know. Maybe we just have different things that we need to try. But that's the thing, is if doing nothing but arguing is not a solution. And I think doing that marriage course, like Molly said, I highly recommend it, because it does give you other things that you're like, okay, well, we haven't tried that before. I before the class, I would never have thought of telling Molly she's being a rhino, um, and not expected to get, I don't know, some sort of retaliation. But I don't know.
I and I don't think there's necessarily, I mean, we live in a broken world and we're broken people and nothing is perfect. So it's ongoing, and we will have times where we are not communicating properly, and everything that we've learned and all our 20 years of experience in our relationship will just go down the toilet, and we'll be like, how in the world did we not fix this? We know the communication skills, like, and so then we have to kind of start back over with it. But it's okay, to mess up and to fall down with the communication. And we are still learning these things. And it's like you said, it's doing the same thing over and over isn't going to help. So why not try something new? Why not figure out a different way to approach things or do things? And
Well, and I mean, I kind of also on that, I tell our oldest all the time. I say, you can't really control the way you feel, but you can control your actions in those times. Um, and it's not okay for me to just sit there and be frustrated when all Molly's really doing is trying to help. Um, so for me, I might be frustrated that maybe she's not reacting the perfect way that I would hope she would in that particular circumstance, even though it's different than the last time. Like, she's not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader. So those things are going to frustrate you. You're going to be upset or bothered, and somebody doesn't react the perfect way, but you can control your actions in those circumstances. I can get upset that Molly's not doing that, or I can just think, she's she really is trying to help. She's looking out for my best interest. So,
well, and you said that it's not okay for you. I can't remember exactly what you said, but you're like, it's not okay for you to get frustrated with me. But it is okay
well,
because you can't control.
to
Yeah,
feel frustrated,
absolutely.
but
To take it out on
take it
me.
out on you.
Yeah,
That's my choice, is to take it out on you, or to accept the fact that you're just trying to help.
yeah. And I think that's an important thing that a lot of not just couples, but I mean any relationship deals with. It's,
Well, it
oh,
should be
okay.
any human interaction.
Absolutely. You need to stop and listen to the other person and kind of try to put yourself in their shoes. And I knew that Christopher, I keep saying we throughout this because, Christopher and I are a unit. We're husband and wife, and when he feels the pain, I feel the pain, not physically, but I hurt for him. And this has affected us, in everyday life, but it's different for him because his back is like physically hurting, and he can't get up and do the things that he wants to do, and he can't go to work, and he can't go out with, friends and this and that. And I can, but I have to stop and be mindful and go, okay, what could it be like for him right now in this? And he's hurting way more than I am. And just kind of allowing you, Christopher, to just to have your cocoon time, but not too much of it, to let you feel those hurts and those frustrations, but to also, you know, help pick you up and to kind of sometimes just distract you from the situation, be it with something with the kids, or hey, let's watch a movie, or whatever it may be. Just giving him his time to deal with things. And a lot of the time it's listening, which is harder for me than it is for him, because I like to, if I can give advice, I like to be able to do that. But there's really no advice that I can give here except maybe just to sit and listen. Because a lot of the times, if you're frustrated, and I found this, not just with an issue happening, but I am the kind of person very much that I will tell a story, and I'm telling you a story because I want you to listen, and I don't want your feedback. I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just trying to get it out. I need to get it out or else I'm going to dwell on it, right? And I've found a lot of that seems to be happening right now with you. So if I can give you that courtesy to just listen, and if you need advice, then I can say, do you want to hear my opinion on it? But not, which sometimes you don't, and that's fine. But, or also just maybe show you a different way of looking at something too, or pointing something out, not necessarily trying to fix anything, because we know that I am a fixer and that I'm trying to work on that. But just giving your spouse or your child or whoever it is that time, and then just really really listening to them, because I think that in this world that's kind of lacking.
Without the phone there.
Without the phone?
Yeah.
What?
Like, oh, I'm listening, but I'm staring at a screen, flipping through,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not.
That's not listening.
So anyway, yeah, I think we'll do more of these where Molly and I are just kind of talk about stuff that we have learned. So if you guys have any suggestions for any topics or have any questions for us or anything, let us know. Do you have any?
We're done already? Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's 25 minutes. I kind of was hoping for 20, so.
Okay. Well, you have me on the show. You know it's going to last longer.
Well, yeah. I should aim for 15 then, huh?
There you go.
Okay. Any other?
No. Well, just like I said the last time, just, proceed with, when you're going through something, be delicate, be gentle, and remember you're on their team. That's one thing that I kind of took from the marriage course too. If he thinks that I'm getting frustrated with him or he's frustrated with me, I've said it a few times. I'm like, remember, I'm on your team. Like, I am here for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
Yeah, check us out at thefightwithdepression.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram or wherever you are. And until next time, God bless.